Good lord, I feel like complete crap. So, this is going to be, I think, an especially long video for me. My video's been pretty short lately. I've been trying to keep them under 15 minutes, but I think this one will be longer. But before I start, I think I'm going to go take some cold medication. In fact, I think I'm going to go take the nighttime cold medication because it's nighttime and I need to take nighttime cold medication if I'm going to sleep tonight. So this should be especially entertaining, as I will be congested, coughing, and high as balls. Let's get going. Getting to the point. What I'm going to talk about is the Avengers trailer dropped. Also, the Captain Marvel trailer dropped as well. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the one, definitely wanted to talk about the other, and then I realized the one helps with the other. I'm being very vague. This is a wonderful start. So here's how this goes. I saw the Captain Marvel trailer, and I go, there's a problem with this. And I'm hearing a lot of noise on the internet from quite a few different sources, particularly on YouTube. Also on Minds.com. The gist of which being, there's concern, perhaps legitimate concern, that this is going to be an SJW-influenced character, the Captain Marvel, and maybe this will be like the quote-unquote, the bad Marvel movie. What, being more specific than that, I think that's a vague and not really valid concern. What I think is a more valid I'm seeing the Avengers trailer and comparing these two. It's clarified this a lot for me, and I'd like to explain why. I want to talk about this, so I'm going to talk about this. One of the fears is, the real fear, what ultimately the danger, quote-unquote, is that the desire to make a strong female character in science fiction fantasy, to make a Marvel Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman did very well. Then I would argue not because Wonder Woman was a strong female character, but because Wonder Woman was a good character. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again quite a lot. Here's the problem you run into, is that powerful characters are exciting. Weak characters are interesting. So you have these characters, particularly in the really good Marvel movies. At their best, they are powerful, so they do a lot of exciting things, but they're very weak characters, personally, for different reasons, and that makes them interesting. That makes you want to follow them even when shit isn't exploding. And I thought about that a lot, and that's kind of the complaint about these movies that I don't think emphasize the strong female character, but are using it as an excuse to cover bad writing or poor judgment on the place of the studio. It's like, this is a bad movie. Well, you don't like it because you're a misogynist. You hate women. It's like, that's obviously not true. I think the goal of deliberately making the strong female character, the weakness of it, besides obvious stuff, is that you forget that second part. You make a character who on screen is powerful, but then isn't weak, and that weakness is important. Alright, onward we go. Alright, weak characters. Weak characters. Oh, here's some weird weak characters. Robert Downey Jr. in the first Iron Man movie is shown as being spiritually weak. He's a selfish, greedy, narcissistic character who undergoes a transformation. Chris Hemsworth is Thor. His character is brash and careless, arrogant. He doesn't care about other people. He is emotionally weak. Chris Evans, going through the Chris's, the Holy Trinity. Chris Evans. In a small but significant chunk of the first Captain America movie, we see the original Steve Rogers. He is short, he is very skinny, he has a host of health problems, and despite the fact that he is physically weak, physically very weak, unusually weak. The army will not take him. He shows himself to be a profoundly brave person. It's by confronting that weakness that we're shown the strength of that character. So it is very, very, very important to show that your character is weak, in addition to being strong. It's a bit of a paradox, but that's how it is. The concern, the legitimate concern, once again, with the emphasis on we're going to get that strong female lead character, is that you make the character strong, but you forget to also make them weak. Rey from Star Wars is a perfect example. Not in the first movie as much, because kind of. But in, like, Force Awakens, maybe. Last Jedi, definitely. The character has no weakness, nothing to overcome. Anything she even remotely tries, she just vastly succeeds at. She needs no one. I can almost see Kathleen Kennedy or someone just looking over her shoulder. Well, we can't portray this character as weak. She's strong, and that's missing the point. The point of strength is to overcome adversity, and you can't overcome something unless it's there. Some sort of obstacle, particularly a personal and important one. Honestly, the best example isn't even a strong female character. It's Henry Cavill's Superman, where they have the aspirations of making him weak. He acts like he has a weakness, like where he's just down and mopey and filled with ennui and what have you. But then he's Superman. He has no personal weakness. He's not really shown as having any investment with anyone. And it's kind of, this character doesn't have weaknesses. It's very uninteresting, boring Superman. And ironically, he looks bored most of the time. That's the concern for Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. That's the fear. That is the real fear, and I think it's legitimate fear. So, moving on. So, rewatched the Avengers Endgame trailer, because I wanted to. I've been enjoying watching it today. It's exciting. It's interesting. How does this contrast with the Captain Marvel trailer? Let's start with this one. So, this one shows, once again, I don't think I saw a single scene of anyone kicking ass. And yet, I've got to see this film. Not one scene of conflict, not one scene of anything, other than here are characters who are emotionally devastated. Like, we see Steve Rogers, and he's, like, facing one way, and there's, like, a tear running down his cheek. You see Tony Stark, he's stuck in space. I think that's the Milano, or the second rebuild of the Milano. And he's adrift, and he's going to die. He does not seem super strong. He's not kicking ass. We see a roundup of some of the remaining heroes, and it's disheartening, it's depressing. We are not seeing these characters, at being super powerful. That's not what's shown in this video at all. But I don't get the impression these characters are weak because of it. They're vulnerable, they're human, they're relatable. If we saw the last film, and God help you if you didn't see the last film, if you didn't see Infinity War, you understand where they're coming from, where they are. And seeing this next evolution of it, this next part of the series, I've got to see this. I'm just chomping at the bit. I'm not sure how I'm going to sit through the next 4.5 months. But all these characters are weak and vulnerable. That's my point. It's that vulnerability that they have a place where they can be hit, and in this particular case, a place a chord that's been struck, where they've been hit, this loss, and so on. Fantastic. It makes all these characters endearing. It makes me want to see more, to want to know how they're going to overcome this. What else can I say about this? And that last moment at the end with Scott Lang, this is a depressing trailer, but seeing that moment of here's the funny character, it's not just a moment of levity. It's like, you have the character's like, this has to work. I don't know what we're going to do if we don't. And then just that moment of levity almost adds a bit of hope to the tone of the video. Like, maybe things won't be, or maybe they're not as dark as we fear. Brilliant. This is a brilliant trailer. It's fantastic. It's in contrast to the video I just watched, the previous video. This video, the Captain Marvel trailer, I don't really care about the main character. I have no reason to. I don't know who this is. It's an introduction, which makes it a little more difficult. So what is the adversity? Once again, we see plenty of scenes of her kicking ass. That's easy. That's special effects. You just spend money to do that. I'll be honest, Brie Larson's acting is not blowing me away. She's very understated. I heard someone complaining, like, she should smile or something. And people complaining about that. What do you mean she needs to smile? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like watching this video, and it's like she smiles a bunch of times. It's just so understated. She's not really emoting, you know, like an actress might. Not that she's a terrible actress, just this might not, the superhero thing might not be the best place for her. I don't know. I'm going to reserve judgment on this film until I actually see the damn film. But let's comment on the trailer, which I did actually just see. The thing is, how is this character strong? See plenty of that. How is the character weak? If it's supposed to be a surprise that she's from Earth, well, you've ruined it in the trailer. So, fuck that. It's not that she's suffering from amnesia. And when I say suffering, I mean in the literal sense. Like, oh no, I don't remember who I am. We saw in the trailer, we know she's from Earth, we know she's Carol Danvers, we just saw, hey, I think I had a life here. That's all been revealed to us in this trailer, so that part's, that's not going to be a big reveal. I mean, what is left? It takes place in the 90s, so I know that world isn't going to end. I mean, what have you got? Movie? Once again, there's that fear that they're going to make this character strong but not weak. That I'm not going to care about her because you've spent so much time making her strong. I understand why. Like I said, Henry Cavill's Superman, Ray from particularly The Last Jedi. Those characters are they're just powerful in that, but that's not good enough. I'd rather see a vulnerable, I want an interesting character over an exciting one. Exciting movies, they'll put asses in seats at least for a little bit, enough to get your buck back. But it's not going to make it into a good movie. You can't special effect your way into excellence. It doesn't work that way. So far, I mean, I haven't seen anything in this Captain Marvel trailer to make me excited about the character, to want to know more. That's kind of the fear. It's that you've put the best stuff into the trailer, and this isn't that much here. I mean, if this were another studio, like maybe it's a misstep or something like that, or maybe it's just a bad trailer, that would be one thing, but this is Marvel. I mean, of course we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. This is Marvel. They have, in the last 10 freaking years, earned more than enough goodwill to earn a bit of patience, a bit of, you know, give you the benefit of the doubt. Certainly they've got that. But that's the problem with this Captain Marvel movie. It's just, there's no hook here. The character doesn't seem vulnerable. What is this character overcoming? I don't know. I'm given nothing other than she's remembering her past. Like, whoop-de-doo. She doesn't seem to be suffering because of not knowing. It's like, I don't feel like she's overcoming anything. She's just here, she has superpowers, she's kicking ass. Great. So, anyway, that was just my observation. I mean, I'm looking forward to the one movie. I'm really not feeling this Captain Marvel movie. But we'll see. Like I said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It might be a bad trailer. The Marvel just hasn't had bad trailers, so I'm like, what is going on? We'll see. Anyway, I'm rambling enough I can barely talk. I'm out.